All right, guys. So today, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi speaks at the Summit Church in Abuja, and yes, he gave a very long speech there. Today, he did not discuss anything about politics. It was all about entrepreneur. Listen, guys.
As they say it in Igbo, Zuanike. Aha, don't worry. He's coming back. He just stepped out briefly. All right, so he is here. Please join me as I have the singular privilege and honor to welcome a distinguished statesman whose voice continues to shape national conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, the past governor of Anambra State and the presidential aspirant of national.
Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Please be seated. Well, not wanting to make a mistake with protocols, I'll just say, let me thank my dear brother, I think he's absent, my dear brother, Pastor Sakwe, and all the pastors in the house and the organizers. And I thank the panelists. I was rushing to listen to your conclusion and what you had to say, because I was telling him that I don't even know what the whole thing is all about. So I needed to listen and know what it's all about. So I thank you, especially Hope Behind Bars. I'm interested in that. Very, very interested in that. But I thank the panelists. It was wonderful and everything. And I made a request from my dear brother, and I said to him, if I come here and give a speech, which is easier to do, most times you're speaking about what people don't want to hear. Why don't we do a bit of question and answer? Yes, people like me avoid it because you don't want to be asked what you maybe you don't know or what you don't want to answer. Because that's what they also told me. Said, suppose they don't want people to embarrass them. I said, no. You learn also. In my job, there's number one thing you must do. You must be a listener and a learner, or you fail. If you must lead, the first thing you must do is to be a listener and a learner. Once you stop learning, you shouldn't lead. Because people must teach you every day what to do. And if you don't, you fail. So I also want to learn. For example, I listened to her talk about, I never knew there was something like this. I'm going to link you up with a professor in America. In University of Southern California, I spent days with them where the entire faculty are people who have sat in jail, all the professors. And then what they do is to giving people just what you're doing. And you'll be shocked what they've been able to do. I saw the dean of faculty said, I did 28 years. I saw the registrar, everybody, they've done years. And it was amazing. And they are professors. And they are, what are they doing? So, when you see such a thing, when you hear what you're doing, which here, everybody thinks that if you go to jail, most of them are even people who are not supposed to be there in the first place. Even the people who should be there is just politicians for what we've done for the country. Because, yes, because what they do is that, yes, that's what they do. I've been to jail. I work in jail, that's why I know. You go there, you see people who have stolen phone, who have even bought stolen phone. They've been there for 2 years. You've seen people who have fought. Maybe they insulted one big man. Is that what we should be doing? When we have the people who are stealing our nation dry, walking around, they should be in jail. All of us. Because the country needs to work. So that's why I'm interested in what you're doing. So that I can see how we can work further to help those who are in jail. They shouldn't be there. So where do we start? Let me first thank the organizers and everything. It's good that I thank them for trying to bring people, talk about entrepreneurship like my sister was talking. Politics don't make a society. But you see, in our country today, politics have become the greatest, the most sought after job. That means there's something wrong. It is not in any society like that. And any society where you see people in government doing better than entrepreneurs is a failed country. That's why we're failing. Because what you're doing is that people are making money without entrepreneurship and without creating any wealth. So there's no productivity. They're just stealing money. That is, it doesn't happen. In any society you see that, forget it. That's why your country is not working. Because if I become governor today, I'm the richest person, everybody wants to see me. I don't go to see anybody. Everybody wants to see me. Everybody wants to see the president. The first time Clinton shut down the office of the president in America was when Bill Gates came to visit him in those days. Because he was the richest man. So everybody values entrepreneurship, productivity. Today, our young people leave school. They don't know where to go to. Nobody cares about them. Nobody gives them opportunity. We have one of the smartest people on the surface of the earth. When people tell me about young boys who are doing Yahoo, and I laugh. I said, that's what used to happen in India. Until they turned them into doing the right thing. Today they are ruling the world in technology. It's the same thing. The same energy is what you need to turn around. But we need to give them opportunity. When they don't have opportunity, they don't know where to do. When people talk about criminality, I say the same thing to them. You have millions of people who don't know where the next meal will come from. And nobody cares. Yet you have a society where people like me are stealing what they don't need. They're building houses they don't need. So you ask yourself, greed must have limit or you're sick. And I believe all of us are sick. Because we're not normal. So that is where we need. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship changes the society. That's what drives the process. But because of corruption, it cannot work. Corruption kills entrepreneurship. It kills professionalism. It kills hard work. Because people are making money easily. And that must change. Yes, those of you who are doing well, like my brother, the market is thriving, but the market can do better. A country of over 200 million people is not producing or doing what countries that are less are doing. Countries that are less are doing far better than we are doing because there's no productivity in Nigeria. You're selling a product today, maybe in Abuja you'll be able to sell it. Maybe in Lagos. Beyond that, that's it. And that is not a market. You should have more facilities all over Nigeria. People should sell more because of the huge market. But it's not happening because of where we find ourselves. But we'll do it when we conclude. Right now it's question and answer. Not politics, so. Question about the market. Question about the entrepreneurship. You can ask anything. Feel free.
All right. Thank you, sir. Let's put our hands together for His Excellency. Yeah. All right. So we know the house rule. If you have questions, please go ahead and then ask the ushers to give you a piece of paper, and then you can write in your questions and bring to us, and then we'll read out those questions. Like he said, this is thriving in the marketplace. What did they call it? Market. Say market. Say market. Not politics. Say market. And he has told you now that is market. He started his first business as an undergraduate and had tenants. So let's find out how he started it so that we too can learn. So what are the principles that has driven him to be a global entrepreneur? So let's ask practical questions, and we'll benefit so much from his bag of wisdom, right? So quickly, let's do that. Your Excellency, we'll start asking you a question in a minute, but just keep enjoying yourself and just inspiring us. Thank you.
Okay, while you're collecting, I'll be answering the one he asked. I'm a trader, and I believe in trading. Because I was born in a trading family, my father and mother were traders. And I choose to tell people this story every now and then. If you live in a town called Onitsha, I think it's actually where Pastor Sakwe is from. If you go to Onitsha today, you go to a place called 75 New Market Road. 75 New Market Road, what is there now is Mr. Biggs. But I used to tell people, that was my father's shop. He built it in 1953, 55. And if you look at it, if you go to that New Market Road, that Market Road, you see this is New Market Road. This is Old Market Road. They are the junction where two of them met. There's an upstairs that I would say, will hardly take one person now. It's an upstairs still there. It will hardly take. I wonder how people even enter that upstairs. That was my father's office. So we said, let's leave this. So when people come, I said, listen, that's my father's office. This is his store. So it was a trader, and my mother was a trader. So from my early days, I learned to trade. I didn't know much of my father because my father died during the Civil War, and my mother and everything. And I was brought up, one thing is very clear. We men might not teach you a lot. But if you're close to your mom, you will learn a lot. Because you will drum it into your ear that this is the only thing you can do if you have to survive. So I see her go to trade every day. I follow her to her store and everything. And I started trading even before I got involved in my university days and all that and everything in secondary school. And by the time I entered the university, I saw an opportunity. The university didn't have supermarket inside. And my mother used to do supermarket business. We didn't have this, we didn't have that in Soka then. So it was an opportunity for me to start business within the university. It was easy then, I must tell you. Because people say to me, oh, you did it then. It was very easy to start anything then. Because Nigeria was just a lovely country to live in. I tell people, in my first year, I bought my first car, Volkswagen, from J. Ali in Enugu. I don't forget it, 2,700 naira. And it was a brand new car. 2,700 naira. That was what I paid. And I drove that car to university. Everybody knew. By my second, third year, I bought a 505 from Umano Motors, 7,350 naira. So Nigeria was working there. Everything was very easy and all that. But look at where we are today. It was very easy for me to go to travel as a student to the UK over the weekend because we have what we call student fare. London trip then was 200 naira, but student fare was 100 naira because it was 50% discount. So I just paid 100 naira I found myself going to London today. So that's how you know how bad things are. Dollar was that, of course. If I give them, as a student, we had ACB Bank in the distance. If I give them 300 naira for foreign exchange, they give me $500. That was when I was getting them. 300 naira, don't forget it. That's even a receipt of them. They give me 500. And nobody was buying BTA. The ACB will be calling me, oh God, we get BTA, can't you buy? And everything. I was the only student who would buy there and everything. To go to New York, because Nigerian Airways, we had Nigerian Airways then. Lagos, Kano, London, same thing every day. Lagos, New York, daily. It will cost me 150 naira. I go to New York on the weekend and come back. And nobody was asking me for visa. So that was then. The reason why it's good when people say, how did you start your business? It's good I tell you, it cannot work today. The reason why it will not work today is that I was telling Pastor, the system is against you. Everything starts with how the system enable you to create. That's why I said, if Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these people were here, let me tell you, they won't start. I went to the UK and walked into the bank. They gave me a loan based on my intellectual capital. What does that mean? When the manager looked at it and said, oh, you were in Cambridge. Oh, you were in Oxford. You were in this. Oh, what do you want? If you graduate today in the UK from any of the universities, you walk into the bank, they give you credit card immediately and give you a loan. Nobody will give you anything here. You must bring your mother, bring your father's land, bring anything. So that is the crisis we face. It is the system. They didn't know who I am in the UK. They don't know who I am. It's just me and this. And they started giving me money. I started paying. By the time I left the UK, my bank was giving me overdraft of nearly $5 million without knowing where I came from. Except this is the relationship. Every year, because I have a turnover of over $5 million or £5 million then, I get a letter from the Prime Minister and the Queen. A letter thanking me for being a small business and employing people. In all my life here, no local government chairman wrote me a letter. That is your country. But everything I can show it to you in the UK, all the letters from the Queen and the Prime Minister thanking me for contributing to the economy as a small business. My council chairman will come and visit me. And thank me for what I'm doing. When there was problem, my colleagues, look at COVID. When COVID happened, every small business was asked to look at their turnover, look at the income they're supposed to do, and supported them with that income. Here, they will even come and take the one you have. So it's a crisis situation. You can't start a small business today. It's very difficult. Because nobody gives you special interest rates. Tell me how you can start a business at 35%, 30%. It's impossible. This is the crisis we face. Let me leave the Western world so you will understand the difference. If you Google Indonesia today, 90% of the employment comes from small businesses. And check it, Indonesia. 90% of employment comes from small businesses. The reason is very simple. Small businesses are encouraged. While the official rate in Indonesia is 15%, small businesses get free training, free support, and have an interest of not more than 5%. That's a system that wants to support its people. Here, the bank won't even listen to you, talk less of giving you any special. If there's a special rate for small businesses, they will give it to politicians who will not pay back. All those things you hear about the rice, anchor borrowers, anchor this, anchor that, is all criminality. They've stolen the money. It didn't work. Because it wasn't given to anybody. It was given to us. And we pocketed the money. And that is the crisis you must dismantle for the nation to work. So when I have times I say you have to dismantle this criminality, it is the reality you're seeing every day. That's why year in, year out, Nigeria cannot produce rice, which is the most food we consume. When other countries that are smaller produces rice, you hear me every day saying Bangladesh produces 10 times more rice than Nigeria. You Google it now, they do 50 to 60 million tons of unmilled rice. We don't even do 10% of that. Reason is that all those loans they gave for rice have been stolen. So Bangladesh is a country sitting on 148,000 square kilometers, which if you multiply by 1,000, you will see what it will give is 148,000, sorry, 148, about 1 point something million square meters. If you divide it by their population of 170, they don't have up to 1 meter, 1 square meter per person. But Nigeria, at 923,000 square kilometers, have almost 4 square meters per person, yet a country with less than 1 meter per person produces 10 times the rice we can produce. Is because, in fact, to tell you how small Bangladesh is, Niger State is 76.3, Borno is 70.8. 2 of them put together the size of Bangladesh. Yet they produce more rice than we produce. Because the money that would have given to young people who should be entrepreneurs and go and produce rice, we the politicians have shared it in Abuja. And they are telling everybody the story. I'm waiting for the questions.
Come on, let's celebrate His Excellency. So, sir, let me ask, we have a cocktail of questions, but these 2 or 3 are kind of related. One is, what is a business principle that you want to, promote among especially young entrepreneurs, whether they are at startup level or whether they have already started and they are scaling? We have about 3-4 questions have asked. People are asking the same thing. They want to know some principles that have helped you thrive as a businessman. Thank you, sir.
Well, first is to believe in what you're doing. It is not going to be easy. Starting of any business is not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. You're going to go through difficult time, but remain consistent. Believe in what you're doing. Remain consistent. Don't feel, oh, well, listen, you know, this, and like some of the speakers have said, know that when you have done everything, you also have to put it to God. But the consistency, you must first believe in yourself. You are the initiator. You are the this thing. Believe in the product. Believe that you're the chief marketer. Remain consistent. People are going to tell you that if you do this, you will succeed. If you do this, you will succeed. Do this. No. Nobody succeeds by jumping from one business to the other. It's rare. Make sure you have appropriate study of the environment where you. If you look at all the startup, it will shock you that every startup you know, even in America, went through problems. Today, the biggest company in the world, in terms of market size, maybe okay. Elon Musk have come with this thing, but it used to be Apple. Apple founder Steve Jobs was actually sacked from that company. He was sacked from Apple by somebody he hired. Some of you may not know because part of what I do is to study every book. When Steve Jobs started Apple, he hired a man called John Scully. John Scully used to be president of Pepsi. So Steve Jobs was sending to John Scully every day, stop selling sugared water and come and be part of changing the world. After I'd done it for a long time, of a period of nearly 1 year, one day, the president of Pepsi, John Scully, resigned from Pepsi and said he's going to join these young boys in a garage in California who wants to change the world at no salary, but only percentage of the company. Guess what happened in Pepsi? They wanted to examine whether something has gone wrong with John Scully. He got into Apple, became the CEO, and sacked Steve Jobs. Because Steve Jobs is fascinated about technology. Most people who are innovators are not entrepreneurs. They don't go for money. They just want to change something. So you need a combination of the two. Innovator must work with an entrepreneur because entrepreneur will always like money. It happens to me, even in my house. My son have some crazy innovations, and I always ask him, so how much money are we going to make from this thing? And he will always tell me, now initially, he will tell me that it's not about money. But now he says that, I think I agree with you because he goes on doing it and there's no money is not coming enough. He has bills to pay. I said, listen, whatever you do, you must know there's a bill to pay. You know, so it's not a good to say, I'm very good at this. At the end of the month, if you don't pay your bills, you have a problem. So, for me, entrepreneurship must be a consistent person who is driving, making sure that things are done rightly and everything, while, again, trying to be part of change in any environment you find yourself. I hope I'm back. The next question.
Can we please quickly applaud His Excellency? Someone here is asking, Your Excellency, what are your thoughts around the concept of the Igbo apprenticeship and cooperatives as possible, strategies to, scale employment in our society? And the person also, another question here is, how can a business thrive with high interest rates?
I've said it before, you can't thrive with high interest rates. Because what you're doing is that, one is that not just business, Economy cannot thrive with high interest rates. Forget it. The only reason why we have high interest rates in this country is that because the biggest borrower is government. In fact, they are crowding out the real businesses from borrowing. So the biggest borrower is government. I'm sorry when I say this. I used to be in the bank. I was bank chairman. I don't know so many other countries where bank make profit when the people they borrowed money have collapsed. So there's something missing. The reason is that the government are the ones borrowing money. And governments don't care. Because even the money they borrowed was not invested, it's stolen. That is why even servicing debt becomes a problem to us. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. Countries borrow to survive. Japan today owe over 200% of their GDP. Singapore, people used to do example, owe over 120% of their GDP. So many other countries, America, over 100. But what is the difference? Japan today is still the highest holder of U.S. treasuries. The money they borrowed, they invested in something. Singapore is the same thing. The law says you cannot borrow in Singapore without investment. They are trying to raise money now and do everything because Singapore is a very tiny country. They found out now, they used to have the busiest port. They found out there's no way they can't develop a new port. They can't expand it. Guess what they're doing now? They want to build a new port under the sea. It will take them about 30 years. Under the sea. And they want to move under the sea now and build their biggest port. Meanwhile, we're here stealing money, causing confusion all over the place. When the world is changing. So these are things we can do. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. You borrow money, but no country can thrive with high interest rates. You need to lower it. You need to make it competitive. Banks need to support businesses. Banks don't support businesses here. Forget about that value. I've been in the bank, and I can say this authoritatively. I've chaired banks. They don't support businesses. In England, where I live, banks support business. The banks come to me, ask me, what am I doing? In fact, to tell you, 1 year I had a problem. Profit didn't add up. The banks wrote off their interest rate. Here, they will eventually hold you like a goat to be killed for Christmas. So that is the thing. You can't survive with high interest rates. Well, there was another question there.
But Igbo apprenticeship and cooperatives.
Let me be honest with you. It's two ways. It used to work. It's not working well today. The reason why it's not working well today is that the Oga, people don't know that as a businessman, which are us, you have failed when those under you don't succeed. They are not the thing. If you bring a houseboy in your house, a gate man in your house, God did not create him gate man. If that gate man remains there and fail, you have failed. And you failed God. And I say to people, if you go to a place called Trade Fair, Balogun Market, I don't say this usually, but they will tell you, I built about 200 shops. I don't own one. And people ask me why. I say, listen, I have a lot of small people I brought from my village and everywhere. Why should I own the shop they own? No. You must pull people out of poverty for you to be successful. If they remain poor, you are finished. that job, the job, so the apprenticeship is not working. Because now you take somebody's son and everything. My friend Mo knows. I always tell him, I say, this man driving Jeep is my houseboy. But let me tell you the difference. People think about the day I go to with Mo to the market, they are ready to kill anybody and they're giving me things free. I'll call him and say, Oga, I don't have this thing. Say, Oga, how can you be saying that? We'll buy it and bring it for you. You must. So the apprenticeship is not working now. The big man wants to remain rich and think God created the other people to be poor. No. Capital, no. We need to change it to what it used to be. My father was the apprentice to people. From there, he started his own. In fact, he goes to see those who he has trained. He will tell you, this man is my boy. This man is my boy. This man is my boy. My father was strict. My mother was strict. So what do we used to do as small boys? We go to holidays to those they've settled. Because they are kinder people than our parents. So that's the advantage you have. It's still happening to me today. My brothers, my sisters, my this, the next thing, even my own wife finds it more easier to deal with them than deal with me. Because he knows, he would tell you that Peter would rather give his money away to nursing school. So he doesn't want to talk to Peter about that thing. And Peter doesn't like celebration. So she will talk to any of my brother, anybody, and all that. Because you have helped other people. So the apprenticeship will work if only we can change to what it used to be, where the idea is to help people learn, settle them, encourage them to start their own. And these are things society must do. Thank you. Next one.
Yes. So we just have 4 minutes, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
2 questions very quickly. This one's, we are trying to dodge away from some kind of question, but I just want to add this one. Someone is saying...
Don't dodge away from me.
Yes. Someone is saying, so one is, I'm a farmer, but it's difficult now to go to farm because of bandits. What do we do? That's one. Then the second one is that how do you balance doing business, promoting integrity that you are known for in a very corrupt society? How do you balance? We want to learn it, sir.
Okay. Let me talk about farmers. It's unfortunate you can't go to farm today because of insecurity. I've always said Nigeria have no reason to be where it is in insecurity. If non-state actors are stronger than the state, there's a complicity somewhere. And I say with every sense of responsibility, or we declare war. One person must be in charge. We cannot have a situation where our children can no longer go to school. It's not possible. We cannot have that situation. That must change. And to change it is all of us. Government must do more because it's affecting us. Nigeria have now become one of the hungriest countries of the world. I say this every day. Ukraine gave Nigeria grain to fight hunger. Ukraine is at war. But they gave us grain to fight hunger. We can make more money. That's why we must work hard. We can make more money from agriculture than we make from oil. Any day, anytime. Anybody who tells you about the oil, no. The richest state in America is California. Over 4 trillion economy, and it is agriculture and technology, not oil. Texas, that is where the oil is actually the number 4. So it has nothing to do with oil. Tiny country like Netherlands, these are examples I give on a daily basis, makes 120 billion euros, about $130 billion from export of food items. Agricultural product. Netherlands without water. With water is 41,000 square kilometers. Without water is 33,000. Niger is 76.3. So Niger is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. Just Niger State. Fertile land. And they get 3 times what we get from oil from their land. Boronu, Sambisa forest in particular that gives us problem is farmland. Sambisa area is 60,000 square kilometers. That's 3 times the size of Israel, and Israel is exporting food. Israel is 22,000 square kilometers, times 3, 66. This one is 60. You have a crisis. You need to deal with it. And because of it, you must fight this insecurity head on. One person must be in charge. It is not something you read every day. We will deal with it. It has reached where everybody should be at the forefront. If you want to lead, you must be ready to die. Or you go home. So it's something we must be ready to do. On issue of integrity, quite frankly, let me be honest with you. The way I see it is what I said before. People are stealing what they don't need. When you find yourself in office, when you find yourself everywhere, the only reason why you're there, I know people have supported you and everything, is by His grace. So whatever you do there, you are either upholding and respecting His grace or you are abusing His grace. But what I find amazing is when people steal what they don't need. I was governor in Anambra State for 8 years, and I've challenged anybody. If you go and see where their money that I'm not entitled to is missing, please come and stop politics. The reason is that by the time I got to Anambra State, I was a very comfortable person. I didn't need the money to steal their money to live. Whatever I wanted, I have it in my house. And coincidentally, it's just my wife and my 2 children and everything. I was telling somebody just a few days ago, and more is there. He has seen me with my son. My son, since he left university, and that's what I talk about, employment and doing something, has never asked me for 1 naira. So people like Pastor Tommy Omo have seen where I said, why don't I give you this money? He said, no, he doesn't want money from me. Because he's working on any something. If it's not, he will be in my house, creating confusion all over the place. But because he works. Because he works and everything. If I go to UK today, I'm battling with my son, arguing more than we see. Oh, why don't we see? Why took you out for? No, Dad, I'm very busy. I don't want to see you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if I finish work by 6, I'll just pass through your hotel. This is all a battle and everything because he's working. He lost his job. That's how he bought his house. So he doesn't want to live in my house. He doesn't want to have anything to do with me and everything. It's difficult at times. You want him not to earn the money so he can listen more to you. But, but that is because he's working. And that's what it should be. That people finish job and leave you. And be able to earn their own living. Be able to form their own life and everything. And all that. So, when you have this circumstance, why are you going to steal money? What do you need it for? I was made chairman of SEC here. I always tell people, the day I came to SEC, the first day I came, they said, oh, this is your vehicle. You're entitled to house allowance. You're entitled to this. If you see, oh, this is your rent for 5 years. This is your this. I said, listen, hey, wait a minute. I just came to meeting here. Please, I don't want anything from this organization. If I come to a meeting, I will go. If you have anything for sitting allowance, give it to those who need it. I don't need it for anything. And when I tell people, I say, go to SEC, ask them whether they paid me 1 naira as their chairman. No. Because what would they pay me? Whatever they will pay me, I have it before I came there. So why are you acquiring what you don't need? It doesn't make sense. I have no reason, and I say it any day, to steal public money. I have enough. I don't have a jet, I don't have everything, no, but I can tell anybody, if where I am today, I'm left with it, I have enough to go to my house and sit down and be eating, drinking, water, everything, travel to where I want for the rest of my life. So I have no reason. The only thing I can do now that can make meaning to my life is to pull people out of poverty. And that is why you see me, as I conclude, you will see it, you can go and check. Every week, I must visit a hospital, a school, must. And I've never visited any and spent less than 10 million naira. Reason is that that money you see, I was telling somebody just this morning, I came back from the UK yesterday. No, on Thursday. And I told him, I said, until I went into public life, I realized that the difference between flying first class and business class is about almost 10 million naira. So, and the same plane. Same plane, nothing changed though. Since I started doing it, it was just psychological. Since I changed and started flying any class, nothing has happened to me. But if you tell me that when I was in private sector, bank chairman, this, that people will be in front of the plane, I'll be at the back. I'll tell you, forget that one. Today, even for free, I don't want to, because, and I found out that, it's a difference. I told a friend of mine, that's where I conclude. I said, we're flying actually from Lagos to the east. And the ticket the business class was about 400,000, and the economy is 150. And he came and told me, he said, Peter, what's the difference in this? What's the difference in this? I said, don't worry. Just stay there. When we arrive in Nugu, I'll tell you the difference. So he said, I said, the difference is about 200,000 and still came. So as we are driving to his village, we got to his village. I said, let's go to the village market. So we came to the village market. Everybody came to greet us. And I gave them 200,000 naira. What happened there? He could not believe it. I said, that is the difference. The difference is that those of us who are stealing money, packing it all over their house, owning 50 houses, they don't need. You do not need, Peter Obi does not need a house in New York. I don't live in America. I don't need a house in Johannesburg. I don't need a house, sorry, I might say people will not like it. I don't have a house in Abuja. Neither do I have in Lagos. I have a house in Onitsha. And it's where I live, and I'm happy with it. And I have a house where I used to live in the UK. But I don't need to buy a new one. When I became government, say, this place you live, you buy a new one. I say, listen, wherever you buy, you still remain a black man to the white man. What are you trying to change? You want a place to sleep. Wherever you buy, if you will sleep, you will sleep. If you will be awake, you will be awake. So what is in it? Try to use your money for humanity. Some people need it somewhere. Support them. That's why I'm happy with my sister, Hope Behind Bars. I listen to it. Nigerians are behind bars. So we must give them hope. Thank you and God bless you.
Everyone, come on everyone, let's give His Excellency a resounding round of applause. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Please do not stop. Keep the tempo going. Thank you so much, sir.
We thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wealth of experience about governance, leadership, and national development.